Why do millions of people shed tears for a young king of Joseon, a boy who lived 500 years ago? Flowers will bloom again, but a person can never be young again. This single verse holds the whole of Danjong's life. 2,300 years ago, a philosopher named Mencius said something profound. Human beings, he argued, are born with 4 moral hearts, and the very first of them is called Cheuk-eun-ji-sim. Breaking it down, character by character, it means the heart that feels sorrow for another. In simpler words, it is the ache that rises in your chest when you see someone suffering. Not pity, not charity handed down from above. It is something that comes before thought, an instinct, a reflex of the soul. Rivers and mountains are the eternal hosts. People are but guests of 100 years. We are all just passing through. And the act of feeling that together, that is the root of Cheuk-eun-ji-sim. Danjong became king at 12. He lost his throne at 15, and he was gone by 17. His only crime was this: he was still alive. His uncle, Grand Prince Suyang, wanted the crown. Every loyal minister who stood up for Danjong was executed. Danjong was stripped of his title and sent into exile, not as a king, a throne. Then this: as dusk falls, the blue mountains grow far and distant. The cold air settles over a lonely, desolate cottage. This was the world of a 17-year-old boy, a child who had once been the king of Joseon, sitting alone in the cold mountains, watching the hills grow dim in the fading light. One of his most devoted ministers, Seong Sam-moon, was executed for refusing to abandon his king. On the day he died, he left these words: "They say there are no inns on the road to the underworld, then whose house will I sleep at tonight?" The calm in those words, the quiet humor, even at the edge of death, cuts deeper than any cry of despair. So why, 500 years later, do we still weep over Danjong's story? Why do people in America, in Europe, people who have never heard his name before, find themselves crying while watching a video? Mencius gave us the answer. He said, when a person sees a child about to fall into a well, their heart drops every single time. That response is Cheuk-eun-ji-sim. And if someone feels nothing in that moment, they are not fully human. Flowers smile, but we hear no sound. Birds weep, but their tears cannot be seen. Danjong's grief was silent. His tears were invisible to history. He was quietly buried beneath the weight of time. And yet, the Cheuk-eun-ji-sim inside us leapt 500 years to find him. Modern psychology says the same thing. Our brains have mirror neurons. When we see another person in pain, our bodies respond before our minds catch up. Empathy is not learned. It is built in. The tears you cried are not weakness. They are proof that you are fully, completely human. Cheuk-eun-ji-sim is not reserved for kings or grand historical tragedies. It lives in the smallest moments of everyday life. A coworker who looks exhausted, an old man walking alone, a tree standing in the rain. Push the mountain's shadow and it will not leave. Sweep away the moonlight and it comes back again. Cheuk-eun-ji-sim is the same. Suppress it and it rises again. Turn away from it and it finds its way back. Because that is what it means to be human. Sweet rain in a time of great drought. An old friend found in a foreign land. Cheuk-eun-ji-sim is that rain. When the world grows dry and cold and indifferent, it is the first thing to fall. In Confucian thought, Cheuk-eun-ji-sim is the root of benevolence, the highest expression of what it means to be human. It is not a grand gesture. It is simply feeling. It is choosing not to look away from that feeling. In stillness, the universe opens wide. In quiet, time flows on and on. Danjong is still there in that mountain in Yongwo. Every year, countless people make the journey to visit him, not because he was a great and powerful king, but because he was so deeply human, too young, too alone, too wrong. If this story moves something in you today, hold on to that. That feeling is the most human part of you. This has been CHUUGUMI. Next time, we explore CHUUGUMI-sim, the heart, that knows shame. See you then.